What's going on, everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot, and we are back for some player props and spreads in the NBA for Wednesday, May 26th. Let's recap yesterday, 3-3 day, and it should have been much better. Kawhi Leonard over 25.5 points, could have had 26.5, 27.5, could have had 30.5, but he had 30 points in the first half. I believe he ends with about 42. Over in the Celtics-Nets game, over 227, cashes pretty easily. And then Anthony Davis, our third winner of the day, could have had 24.5 points, could have had 25, 30.5, didn't matter, ended with 34 points. Our losses, Jason Tatum, where are you at? Over 30.5 points? Nah. Best I can do is 9 points, 3 of 12 shooting. Granted, he was getting mugged on his way to the rim. Not a surprise to see him leave with an injury. Drummond, and we had his under in PRAs. I knew it was an L the moment I saw that one possession. I believe it was a couple minutes into the game. The buddy missed like 3 or 4 tip-ins, got the offensive rebound every single time, and eventually made it. That was about 5 PRAs. We could only afford 17. Whatever. Great for him. His first career playoff win. And then our final one was a teaser. And this one hurt the most because we had Brooklyn minus 4.5, which was free money out of the gate. And then we had Clippers minus 1.5. Great job, Clippers. You guys are doing real great. Down 0-2 to the Dallas Mavericks. And now you're heading to Dallas. So we'll see how that goes. But Logan went 4-2 yesterday in the MLB. He is 9-3 in his past 2 days, so go check out Logan's video. And shout out to all the new subscribers out there. We're almost at 5,400. We need 6 more. Yes, 6 more to hit 5,400. So subscribe if you are new, and shout out to our newest COS All-Stars on the screen. We're talking about Christian Aquino, I think I pronounced that right, and Diva of Sports, our 2 newest COS All-Stars. We really appreciate those people. If you want to join the COS All-Star community and get shouted out in tomorrow's video, click the link in the description or click the join button on our channel. It costs less than $3 a month, and use it as a tip jar. Maybe you're fading us making money. Maybe you're tailing us making money. Whatever you're doing, become a COS All-Star today. We really appreciate it. And last but not least, like I said, subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 5,400, maybe even 5,500, and click that like button if you are new. Let's get into the 3 games today. We're talking about Wizards versus 76ers is our first game. Knicks versus Hawks is our second game. And my New York Knicks, let's see if we can catch a dub today. And the final game of the slate, Jazz versus Grizzlies. And first, we're going to start with the Wizards versus Sixers. And where are we starting? You look at game 1. We absolutely destroyed the bookies. We had Ben Simmons player prop over 13.5 rebounds and assists. Could have had it at 14.5, 15.5. You could have had 29.5. Yes, he had 30 rebounds and assists, 15 rebounds, 15 assists, both ways. But today, we're rocking with Ben Simmons, but it's a little different. We're taking his PRA prop. And I know you're like, Austin, you bashed him in the first video because you don't like it, including his points. But today I'm including it, and it's for good reason. And it's 29.5. I have it at the bottom, minus 113. And here's why. You might be thinking to yourself, why aren't we just rolling the dice? We're all going back to the well by taking Ben Simmons' RA line. It is up to 16.5 at plus 104 value on FanDuel. But I'm diving into the PRA line, and here's why. Sure, Simmons didn't score well in the first game. You're talking 6 points, but he shot 3 for 9, and he shot 6 free throws. And I think anyone out there could have done at least as well as he did because he missed all 6 of those. So you don't love that, but he is a career 56% field goal shooter and 61% from the line. So regression of law of averages, he's going to make some of those shots today. Game 1 was an abnormality, and I think he gets back on track. If you look at his PRA line, at 29.5, he has destroyed this against the Wizards in his career as well as this year. You look at it, obviously he had 36 PRAs in Game 1. Sure, it was 6 points, 15 rebounds, and 15 assists. We'll still take it. So he had 36 in Game 1. Back in January, 35. Back in December, 32. So he's cashed in all 3 games this year. Let's go back all of his career like we did in the first game. 18 he had in the bubble. He didn't play many minutes, so I'm not even really going to count it. Rest of his career, 33 PRAs, 32, 33, 31, 31, 32. He had a 29, so he misses it by the hook. 53 and 33. He's cashed it in 11 of those 13 matchups. 1 he missed by the hook. Other one he didn't even play that many minutes. Today, he should play a lot of minutes per usual. It is a playoff game. Personally, I think this line should be 32.5. As you can see by the numbers I just gave you, he normally ends around 32 to 33.5, but they're giving it to us at 29.5. I'll take the edge, and I'll take it with confidence. Let's go, Ben. Let's show that Wizards defense what's good. We're taking it. Ben Simmons over 29.5 PRAs. Moving on into the second game of the slate. And just as a recap, we got 3 player props. We got a teaser again. I believe we got another over-under. We got a lot going, and we have a same-game parlay, so stick around to the end. Talk about the Hawks. In Game 1, we had Julius Randle, and I have right here my New York Knicks. Yeah, he stunk in that game. Hawks versus Knicks, Game 2 coming up, and I think Julius Randle has a bounce-back day, but he's going to have to prove it to me, and he will be in the same-game parlay later. But today, I'm taking R.J. Barrett over 5.5 rebounds, minus 118, And he's one of my favorite players on the Knicks. He is the Maple Mamba, and he's showing exactly why the Knicks drafted him at number 3 in the 2 years ago in the NBA draft. And, you look at game 1, RJ Barrett had 11 rebounds. He doubled up this prop. And while I don't expect that to happen again, and if it does, you could bet an alt spread of rebounds, and it would probably cash at like plus 750 odds. I don't think he's going to do that. That might have been more of a fluke. But not in hitting this prop. In his 4 games against Atlanta this year, he has hit it in all 4. He had 11 rebounds, obviously, in game 1. 6, and 11 rebounds in the other 3 games. He's going to play a lot of minutes, and he only played 32 minutes in game 1, and that was largely in part to he didn't play much in the second quarter, similar to Julius Randle. That second unit for the Knicks was just taken over. Tom Thibodeau said, we're just going to ride the hot hand. And so he didn't even see his normal minutes, which is normally in the 38 to 40 range. He played the most, arguably one of the most amounts of minutes in the NBA this season. And he's averaged 5.8 rebounds on the year per game. And he's hit this over in exactly, I believe, 50 of his games. I think 51% if you include the playoff game. I think he's willing. I'm taking my chances. He's going to luck in and fall into 6 rebounds. He's aggressive on the boards. And I think he's going to attack the rim, play big minutes, off the glass, whatever you name it. I think he's fallen into at least 6 rebounds. We're taking it. RJ Barrett, over 5.5 rebounds. Moving on. Let's get it done, Maple Mamba. Moving on to the last game before we get into the spreads and teasers. Jazz versus Grizzlies. And where am I going with this? I'm taking Bojan Bogdanovic. I'm taking his under 26.5 PRAs, minus 125. And it's not, you could take his points under if you want. It's 19.5. But Spida is back. And normally when Donovan Mitchell is returning, that means that Mr. Bogdanovic, you no longer get shots. Not my fault. Fine, you can say Mitchell isn't that big of a ball hog if you're a Utah Jazz fan. That's fine, but you got to look at the splits of this season when Mitchell is there versus when he's out. So obviously look at game 1. Bogdanovic went off. He had 29 points, but we'll talk about that in a second. You talk about those 19 games this season when Donovan Mitchell was inactive. He was not playing. Bogdanovic averaged 22.4 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, and 2.2 assists per game on 15.6 shot attempts. Very good numbers. He would easily cash this PRA line. But now insert Donovan Mitchell. They played 53 games together. Bogdanovic averaged 15.1 points per game, 4.1 rebounds per game, and 1.8 assists per game on just 11.8 shot attempts. He lost over 3 shot attempts, almost 4 shot attempts per game, combining for just under 21 PRAs, as opposed to the 28 without him. Sure, you could look at game 1 of the series. Bogdanovic had 29 points and 34 PRAs. Yes, that was without Donovan Mitchell. And yes, if you look at how many points he had in the first half, he had a big goose egg. Yes, he had 0 points at halftime, and he went off in the second half. And I don't anticipate that to happen again. He had a remarkable performance after halftime. Could he do it today? Yes, absolutely. But I'm just banking on an angry Donovan Mitchell, who was angry that he got sat out the first game of the series. Plus, you obviously got Mike Conley and Jordan Clarkson chucking it up. Then you got people like Georges Niang, Joe Ingles also firing it up. And leaves Bojan out of the mix. He's the odd man out. Icing on top, the 2 times these 2 teams played with Donovan Mitchell, who scored 35 points in both matchups. Granted, you could take his points total as well. Bojan had 21 PRAs in one of those games in 32 minutes and 8 PRAs in the other game in 27 minutes. I like it. If he wants to go hit the over, by all means, go for it. But I'm siding with the analytics and rolling with it under 26.5 PRAs. Moving on, same game. I'm taking the Jazz team total. This goes against Bojan, but I'm taking the Jazz team total first half. Yes, only first half. I'm taking over 56.5, minus 106. We're going to break it down. I know this is a weird one. I normally don't take many first half props, but today I got it. At home, where the Utah Jazz will be, they'll be in Utah. The Jazz averaged 60.3 points per game in the first half, a little above this average. In game 1, they stunk. There's no way around it. They scored a big 43 points in the first half, but in the second half, they found rhythm, found a way to attack this Grizzlies defense. They put up 66 points. As we mentioned above, Donovan Mitchell is back, and you look at those 2 games we talked about where Donovan Mitchell had 35 points and he played against the Grizzlies. They scored 66 points in the first half and 70 points in the first half. They absolutely destroyed this 56.5 line that we got. They couldn't be stopped, and I think that's the case today. We've seen in the NBA teams like the Bucks and the Nets who struggled to score in game 1. They come out in game 2 and go wild in 3-pointers and all of that. You look at the Jazz, they shot just 12 for 47 from the 3-point line in the first game. Those are bound to start falling more. I like the Jazz first half team total over 56.5. Not thinking twice. All we need is 57 points for a first half casher, and I'm rolling with it. Same sort of game. We're taking a teaser at the bottom. We're going 76ers minus 3.5 and Jazz plus 4. It's a 5-point teaser plus 100. And we're back to the teaser well because yesterday should have cashed. I mean, the Bucks or the Nets did their job. They absolutely blew the brakes off of the Boston Celtics, and then the Clippers came out and laid an egg, and I don't think these two teams will lay an egg like that. Plus, I think the hardest leg is the 76ers minus 3.5, but I think the Jazz will win. I don't know if they'll cover these 9 points, but I do think both of these two teams win, and you get a little better value than taking their money line. The Jazz are obviously in a must-win game. They cannot, and I mean they cannot go down 0-2 to a 8 seed. Absolutely not. I don't trust them to cover 9 points. Never trust the Jazz at all, but I think they can cover the 4. They're the better team, and they're at home for both of these matchups. You look at the Sixers, they have so many mismatches on offense that it's police mode is activated. The Wizards cannot guard the 76ers, especially not Embiid, even if they double him. Tobias Harris went off. I think Ben Simmons has a better day. Seth Curry's knocking down shots. They can't stop him. And you look at the Philadelphia 76ers, they are 28-4 straight up as a home favorite, which is where they find themselves today. 4 is asking them to cover 4 points. Win by 4 is not asking for too much. It could just take some free throws at the end to cover that. So I'm laying the points, and I hope these two teams come out and win in a big way. Now, my final same-game parlay, a little longer video than normal. Safe same-game parlay. If you don't have a same-game parlay, I'm sorry. It's only available on FanDuel and some select books. But here's where I'm rolling with. Plus 103 value. Put it up on the screen. Trae Young, 20 points and 8 assists. And Julius Randle, 20 points and 6 rebounds. Sure, all these legs hit in game 1 except for Julius Randle's points. Buddy went 6 for 23 from the field, only scored 15 points, but I think he plays better today. You look at Trae Young, he's going to have another good game. He's hit this 20 points and 8 assists in all games against the Knicks this year. I believe they've played 4 times. And the mayor of New York City just called out him for punting fouls. And yeah, that's not going to work out too well. Blasio, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I wouldn't have done that. But he's going to go and attack the rim and chase for even more fouls. He's going to be free throw fiending all night long. Randle has hit these 2 legs in all of the games against the Hawks, except for that one game. I think both of these two teams, we expect a better game from Randle. He should be able to get us 20 points after just being named the NBA's most improved player. So, like I said, recap, I do think both of these two hit, and we got plus 103 value. All you're asking for is Trae Young, 20 and 8. And Julius Randle, 20 points and 6 rebounds. I like it. We're taking it. A recap of all our plays. We're rocking with Ben Simmons. First play, over 30.5 PR. I believe 29.5 PRAs was my exact line, if I'm not mistaken. Let me scroll back up. Ben Simmons over 29.5 PRAs. We're rocking with it. Then the second play, we're talking RJ Barrett over 5.5 rebounds. Bojan Bogdanovic under 26.5. That is the one on the Utah Jazz. Under 26.5 PRAs. Jazz team total first half over 56.5. Then we got the teaser, plus 100 value. Jazz minus 4, Sixers minus 3.5. Then the same game parlay. You can scroll back in the video, or I'll put it up right on the screen right there. Like I said, we really appreciate it. If you want to become a COS All-Star, click the link in the description. It costs less than $3 a month. You get to show your support for Logan and I. We're having a good day today. We're making some money. Go check out Logan's video right here. Boom! And he has been absolutely killing it in the MLB. 9-3 over his past 2 days. He's been on a roll. So go check out his video. Learn some useful tips. If you've never bet MLB, you will really start thanking him. He's been on an absolute heater the whole year. This has been Austin. I will catch you guys again tomorrow. Let's make some money today and go New York Knicks. Peace!